Hi, welcome again to another episode of YT Live with Career Launcher. In today's episode, I'm going to take you through all the management entrance examinations, including CAT. 5 of them, we will look at it so that you understand what is in store for you as far as your preparation requirement is concerned. So we'll talk about CAT, we'll talk about XAT, we'll talk about NMAT, IIFT, and SNAP. Start with, obviously, the CAT exam. The common admission test is an admission test to all the important institutes in this country, the coveted IIMs. This is conducted once every year, typically in the month of November, with 3 sections. All the aptitude questions are VARC, the verbal ability, reading comprehension, the DILR or logical reasoning and data interpretation, and the quantitative aptitude. The exam is, of course, for 2 hours and very, very important and very coveted institutes like the IIMs, IITs, FMS, XPGen, NET, MDI Gurgaon, IMI, IMT, XIM Bhubaneswar, and a lot of others take this as the written test. The registration typically is going to start in August, and somewhere around mid-September is where you can apply. That means you need to take a decision. If you are planning to join an IIM next year, let's say you are now in July, August, September, whatever, and you're thinking of joining in June, July of a particular academic year, you will have to start planning much, much, much early. The registration of the CAT, as I said, starts in August itself. Application fee is about 2,200 and close to 2 lakh people write this exam. The eligibility is that you need to have a 50% in, if you're a general category student, 50% in your graduation. Any graduation absolutely is okay. If you're, of course, from a reserved category, you need only 45% in your graduation, and a professional degree like a CA or a CS is valid. You don't have to have then a graduation to be able to write the CAT. The paper is a 3-section paper, as I said, has 3 areas: VARC with 24 questions, 40 minutes, DILR, 20 questions and 40 minutes, and QA, 22 questions and 40 minutes. This paper is a total of 66 questions, especially for 2021 paper. What will happen in 2022, 23, 24, we don't know. But for CAT 2021, a 2-hour paper with 66 questions. And the paper can be talked about as a moderate to a difficult paper. Every correct answer gives you 3 marks and every wrong answer gives you -1 marks. For a MCQ type of question, you have no negative marking, of course. 198 marks. I said at a 99 percentile, of course, it keeps changing what score it is, but anywhere around 95 to 98 marks. 95 to 98 marks out of 190, 188 will give you a 99 percentile in the paper. Let's look at XAT. The XAT is the Xavier's Aptitude Test conducted by XLRI Jamshedpur, one of the most coveted institutes in the country for management, especially for human resource management. This is normally conducted on the first Sunday of January. First Sunday of January, almost every year. They have 2, the exam is online and it's conducted in part 1 and part 2. The part 1 has 3 sections: the verbal ability and logical reasoning. There is a section called decision making, and the third one is quantitative ability and data interpretation. They also have GK and essay writing, and XLRI, this XAT exam is taken not just by XLRI, but a lot of other Xavier's associated institutes as we go along. This exams happens again only once, like the first Sunday of every Jan in general. Registration of this exam starts in August itself, continues almost till November, and application fees for the exam alone is 1,800. Like I said, you can apply to HRM, you can apply to their business management programs. They are very important. And there's a global management program, a global business program also, or a global MBA, they call it. You can apply if you have more than 5 years of experience. You will have to separately apply for this. Remember, in the IIMs, in the CAT exam, you don't have to separately apply for those things. Again, the eligibility is very similar. You don't have you need to have a bachelor's degree or you have to be in the final year of the degree. But interestingly, there are no minimum marks in fact, you can get less than 50% to write that exam, unlike the CAT exam. In CAT, you need a 50% minimum in your bachelor's. And of course, that exam entrance also doesn't have any minimum marks criteria. The pattern changes off and on, but a typical pattern you can think of, and the most important 3 sections are 26, 21, and 28 for the VALR, DM, and QA, DI sections. But just understand this. This is 75 questions, but you have a total of 165 minutes. Remember, CAT had 66 questions and 120 minutes. This paper also can be termed as a moderate to difficult paper. There is also normally an essay. There is a GK section 25, but it's not normally counted for shortlisting. This is not counted for shortlisting. There is a negative marking also. +1 mark for every correct answer, -0.25 for every wrong answer. If you don't attempt some questions, if you don't attempt 8 questions or more, then there is a further negative marking also. Very interesting. That way I look at it. Then there is another exam called NMAT, the Narsi Monji or NMIMS Management Aptitude Test. Though it is NMIMS test, it is conducted by GMAT, which is also the same body which conducts the GMAT exam, and hence it is adaptive in nature. This exam starts around the 2nd week of October and goes on till 4th of December. So every day you can write it from 2nd of week, and there is an online and offline mode also. Offline, when I'm saying, it's still computer based, but you need to go to the center and write, or at least last year they allowed somebody to write it at their homes. 3 sections once again: verbal ability, logical reasoning, and QADI, with a 2-hour time gap. Apart from NMIMS, KJ Somaya, SDA Bocconi, IBS, XIM Bhuvaneshwar's rural management program, and a couple of other good programs are the institutes which take this as a written test. These exams, we said we looked at it. The exam registration also starts around the 1st week of August again. Application category fees itself is 2,300, and here importantly, you need to separately apply for each of the institutes. This is for an exam. You need to apply for the institutes like the XAT. For XLRI also, you need to pay. Probably it is only 300 in XLRI. Here it could be higher as far as NMIMS is concerned. NMAT exam, incidentally, you can write thrice in the year. In that window of 16 weeks or 12 weeks, you can write thrice a year. And the best will normally be counted for the NMAT exam, except for NMIMS. For the NMIMS, at least last year, only the first attempt is considered as the attempt. The exam is, of course, online. The eligibility is a bachelor's degree, similar, graduated with 50% minimum score, and anybody with a CA, CS, ICW can also apply. The NMAT pattern has 36 questions in each of the 3 areas. By the way, this is logical reasoning has 40 minutes, quantitative 52 minutes, and language or English 28 minutes. 120 minutes, 108. The score is between 36 and 360. No direct negative marking, but it is scaled up scores which are given to you. For NMIMS, probably you need to get a 240 score. Now, coming back to the similar thing for your XLRI, which I missed out. For XLRI, the good score would be somewhere around 35 to 40 marks to get a comfortable 98+ percentile. IIFT is Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Delhi and Kolkata. It's also there in Kakinada, but their main programs are there in Delhi and Calcutta. This is conducted by the National Testing Agency on behalf of IIFT. The exam is typically one Sunday after the CAT exam, and the exam has 4 sections: VARC again, QA, DILR, and GK for the 2 full hours. Approximately 40,000 students write. Registration starts 1st week of September. Probably application fees is approximately around 2,500 at least last year. And once you apply for IIFT, it's automatically you'll have to tick for IIFT, Delhi and Calcutta. That will be more than sufficient. It's conducted you can attempt only once because it's conducted only once. Age limit, no age bar, like it is not there for any other exam, by the way. Not mandatory to have work experience. Very clearly it is written there. No mandatory work experience required. By the way, it is not required for anybody else also, any other exam also. 50% bachelor's minimum degree is required. And if you are applying for the final year, if you are in the final year of graduation, you are still eligible. The exam is 110 marks, 110 questions, 25 questions of quant, 35 questions of verbal, 30 questions of DI, and 20 questions of general knowledge. But for the first three sections, it's 3 marks per every correct question, minus 1/3 minus, that is minus 1 mark for every wrong answer. Total marks are for 300. Last year, about 200 marks would have got you comfortably in there. And the last exam, which is also very, very important exam, Symbiosis. Symbiosis has 14 institutes, of which the SIBM Bangalore, SIBM Pune, SCM HRD Pune, SIOM Nashik, SIMS Pune, SIIB Pune, that is International Business, SIBM Bangalore, and some of their very, very good institutes. It is conducted by the institute itself, the university itself. At least last year and the year before last, they conducted it thrice, of which you could have written twice at least. The exam starts typically in the 3rd week of December, and probably there is also one conducted in 2nd and 3rd week of January. 3 sections again, 2 hours. It's a 1 hour paper, mind you. It's a 1 hour paper at least last year. It used to be 2 hours, by the way. It used to be 2 hours, but it's a 1 hour paper right now. Last year and the year before last, the Symbiosis guys have given the chance to write the exam twice. The best of the marks will be considered for your scores. Application fees is about 1950, but for every institute and program, you need to apply separately. The exam is again online. Again, you are in the final year of bachelor's or finished your bachelor's, you can write it. Minimum age should be 21 years is what they claim. 15 marks in general English, analytical and logical 25, quantitative and data interpretation 20, total 60 questions and 60 minutes. Negative marking of minus 0.25. To get into the best institutes, 40 to 45 depending on the level of difficulty of the paper. The paper is typically very, very easy. So here we go in this episode where we looked at all the 5 exams: CAT, XAT, IIFT, NMAT, and SNAP. Well, thank you. See you back in the next session of the YT Live. Do subscribe to us. Do like us if you find that this information that we're giving you is going to make your life easier and your preparation sharper. Thanks, and wish you all the best.